Mexico City, 2,240 meters above sea level. The air is thin, the straight is massive, and the fans are some of the loudest you'll ever hear in Formula 1. This is the 2025 Mexico Grand Prix, and if you think that this race is predictable, I am sorry, but you're gonna be in for a ride. My name is Mars, and in this video, we're laying it all out. Weather, tires, track quirks, teams, drivers to watch, your comments that you left in our community, and of course, my prediction. So let's do it. As you can see, I'm wearing green to honor the Mexican GP. Let's get right into it. Grab your cafecito, whatever you got. I'm not going to say it because it's not sponsored, but let's get into it. All right, here's the game plan for today, what we're going to cover in this video. First of all, we're going to talk about weather. We know that in Mexico, this is very important. A track with high altitude, sunshine, it gets hot, the air is thin. We're going to see a lot of unexpected car behavior here. Number two, we're going to talk about tires and strategy, what compounds work better, how teams will use them. Number three, track breakdown. What makes this track so unique? And trust me, this is a very unique one. Number four is going to be teams and drivers. Who's hot? Not in that way. Who's under pressure and who could upset? Number five is going to be your comments that you left in my community tab. You talk, I react. And number six is going to be my prediction for this race. Of course, there's going to be some opinion-based stuff here, but the rest of the video, I promise you, it'll be completely fact-based. All right, so sunshine and mountains sounds great for a vacation until you realize that it is the Mexican GP and the cars start to complain. Let's talk about how the weather and the altitude are going to affect this race. First of all, this venue is built at 2,240 meters of altitude. The forecast for the weekend is going to be dry, sunny, with daytime highs of 25 to 26 degrees Celsius, which is 77 to 79 in Fahrenheit. Evening lows will be near 8 to 10 Celsius. This is going to be a sharp drop in temperature. I feel like a weatherman talking about this, but this is going to affect our race. We're not expecting any significant rain this weekend, meaning that with stable, dry weather, tire strategy becomes a key differentiator here. Less chaos, more execution. But you gotta keep in mind that at high altitude, we have thinner air. This is going to be key for this race, and everyone must be paying attention to this. In very simple caveman terms or cavewoman terms that you and I can understand, it basically means that tires will operate in a narrower window because we have less downforce. So track evolution will be significant as rubber builds up under clean skies. The main takeaway that you should take from this is that we expect a weekend driven by performance, not weather surprise, which is very good for this race. Let's get into our second topic of the day, tires and strategy. These three compounds will decide who wins and who burns out early. It is that big of a deal. For 2025 Mexico City, the dry tire compounds selected by Pirelli are C2 hard, C4 medium, and C5 soft. Each team will get 2 sets of hards, 3 sets of mediums, and 8 sets of soft per driver. But once again, let's bring it back to simple terms. Let's talk about the implications of what this actually means. Soft tires give strong early pace, but may degrade if tires are overworked. The hard tires, the C2s, have less grip, which means that if teams use them, they'll need to manage pace carefully here. When it comes to strategy, this track usually favors the one stop if the tires can hold. If not, a 2-stop works if someone is behind and needs a little push. The takeaway that you should take from this part is that tires will be a major factor at this race, and the teams who manage them the best will probably win. But with high altitude, long straights, stadium vibes, this track is like no other. Let's talk about our track breakdown. The total length of this track is 4,304 kilometers with 71 laps, race distance of 305,354 kilometers in total. With an altitude of 2,240 meters above sea level, we are talking about the lowest air density of the season for any F1 grade circuit. When it comes to DRS, we have 3 zones at this track, but keep in mind that the main straight DRS zone was shortened by 75 meters in 2024. When it comes to the stadium section, cars will be racing through the Foro Sol, which is a low-speed, high-traction zone that requires a lot of mechanical grip. Let's talk about the implications. Low air density means less downforce. Tricky traction, especially in the slow corners and the stadium sector that we just talked about. The long main straight amplifies slipstreaming and DRS effectiveness. When it comes to setup trade-offs, you need straight line speed, but enough downforce and grip for the technical and spectator section of this track. So the key takeaway here is that teams that find the balance will separate themselves. Mistakes here are definitely very costly. Let's talk now about teams and drivers to watch. Who's ready, who's fighting, who's holding on. Here are the key names and what I think you should be watching for. And I know the question that you have. Is Verstappen going to win this? Is Piastri going to win this? Maybe Lando Norris? Well, let's get into it. When it comes to Red Bull, Max Verstappen has won the Mexico City Grand Prix 5 times, most of any driver ever in Formula 1. And this team just excels in low drag, high speed setups. Now, does that mean that he is going to win? I'll let you know at the end. When it comes to McLaren of course has been a lot stronger in 2025, showing improvement in pace and reliability. This is a team with 2 great drivers that could definitely perform really well here. So could they steal the show? This is the big question here. Let me know what you think down below. Ferrari definitely has some potential here with a car that performs well in long straights. But of course, I'm going to tell you the truth of what I believe as a Ferrari fan myself. I don't believe that Ferrari is taking the crown at this track. But since we're talking about Ferrari, let's talk about a former Ferrari driver just last year, Carlos Sainz. Watch out for Carlos. If he does well enough in qualifying and gets that momentum going, Williams may play the spoiler. Even Alex Albon might do this as well. We'll see. Let's finish it up with Mercedes. All right, Mercedes has had lots of ups and downs this season. They're still improving. I know a lot of you are Mercedes fans, and I see your complaints, and I agree with you. So if they nail qualifying, they've got a shot at the podium. Maybe. I'm betting mainly on George Russell. Otherwise, I probably expect a P5, P7, somewhere around there for Mercedes. And I'm mainly talking about George Russell. But we do have wild cards, and this is a track that rewards experience big time. And who has more experience in all Formula 1 other than Fernando Alonso? With his experience, pit strategy, he could be dangerous here. Of course, that Aston Martin car is nowhere near what it was just a few years ago, but Alonso is Fernando Alonso. Williams could also very well be a wild card at this circuit also, since it's so top speed heavy at certain parts, and they would definitely favor from that. But really, all the other midfield teams could also show us a big surprise here, because this is a track that's very tricky, and oftentimes we see a smaller team rise to the top. All right, let's get into the moment that some of you were probably waiting for. I posted this picture on my YouTube community and on my Instagram as well. Make sure you follow me on both of them and the rest of my socials. So let's see what you said. If the cars are equal from now on, Max will win the World's Driver Championship. Of course, this person is hinting at Max having more talent than the 2 McLarens. I think that Red Bull and McLaren are pretty even now when it comes to their cars, so probably talent will define this championship. Brilliant post and explaining the next 5 races. Thank you for the glazing. I want Oscar to win as a Melbourne gal. Well, good luck to you and good luck to Oscar as well. The Mexican FP1 to FP3 will decide everything. If Oscar can adapt, he will win. If not, Max will do to Lando what he did in 2024. But I have a feeling that Oscar can pull this off if he genuinely tries. Okay, first of all, these comments are from a broad spectrum of sources. Some came from videos, some came from that post. I don't know if the Mexican FP1 to FP3 will decide everything, but for sure it'll tell us a lot about what we can expect for the rest of the season. So I agree with you here, and I completely agree with you that Oscar could pull this off if he genuinely tries. This one is just hilarious. Next 2 races decide everything. Nearly. It's like this person was fully convinced as they were typing this towards the beginning of it, and as they got to the midpoint, they started hesitating about it. But I agree, these next 2 races are definitely very important. And for the final one, the iconic. All right, so a lot of variety in the comments. This is what I want you to do now though. Drop your podium picks down below, and who do you think will DNF first? Let's see what's the wild card in this race. If you get it right, I will talk about you in my next video, I promise you. All right, so here are my cards laid out on the table for you to see. These are my predictions for the 2025 Mexican GP. For pole position, and let me get a drum roll right here, I think Max Verstappen is going to get it. Max Verstappen just simply has the track record at this GP. There's not much more to say. It doesn't mean he's going to win the championship. Do not panic. I'm not predicting the entire championship, but I think that at the Mexican GP, he will get pole position. Let's get into the race prediction. What will happen at the GP? All right, for this one, you may be shocked by one of them. Let me give you my podium. My number 3 is for sure a wild card because I put Carlos Sainz. I think Carlos Sainz could get his 2nd podium of the season at this track. Williams, like I mentioned, pretty much from the very beginning, is a team that has been improving so much and would definitely benefit from a track like this one and the uncertainty of it. Carlos Sainz has the experience, has a car that could perform here, so I think that he might get his second podium of the season. Nothing crazy, P3, but would be awesome for Carlos Sainz to get his second podium this year at Williams. But that means that we only have 2 spots left at the top, number 2 and number 1, and we have 3 championship contenders. So who is going to be out? For my number 2, P2, I put Lando Norris. I think that Lando Norris could comfortably get a P2 here, and I'm going to elaborate further after I tell you who my P1 was. Who is it? Come on, you know it's one of the two. Is it Max Verstappen or Oscar Piastri? I said Max Verstappen. Here's why. Before some people panic in the comments, I'm not glazing Max Verstappen. Just look at the track record. He is an excellent driver. He has more experience than Piastri, and that is the reason why I didn't put Piastri in the podium. Piastri has the talent, but he still has to work a little bit on his consistency. And recently, I think he's been affected quite a bit by all the drama and the stuff going on around him, and that gap to Verstappen shrinking very much a lot recently. So I think that Piastri will not perform as well at this track. Doesn't mean it's the end of the world for the Piastri fans. There's still 4 races left. I think he will probably win at least 1 or 2 of the ones left, and we're gonna have a very nice championship fight right at the end, maybe in the single-digit difference between Verstappen, Norris, and Piastri, and that would be awesome. That's what I want to see, and let the best one win. So I'm definitely very excited for the Mexican GP this weekend, a race that could definitely completely change momentum going ahead towards the end of this season. And that's all we got for today. Best of luck to your team and your driver. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you're new around here, you can click right here to subscribe to this channel, and you can click on one of these 2 videos that I created just for you to watch right after this one. Until next time, bye.